Now, don't answer this question, but if there's anyone who did not get a passing grade on the last progress report, I got an incomplete, don't forget that Miss Davis has set up that amnesty program for you. The only thing is it has to be completed by, well, by the time I get here Wednesday morning, so you've got to Tuesday night to get it done, if you need to do it. Now, if you don't need to do it, let's talk about what we're going to do in week 8. Now, in week 8, we're going to set up and solve some 3 variable equations here. So I am going to pull something up here. Let me get into my present screen. And I am going into week 8 in Schoolology.
Your camera is off, Mr. Purdue. Oh, there you go.
We can see it.
See the page here?
Yes, sir.
Now, there are 4 or 5 videos here, but I'm just going to jump right to some problems. Now, I'm going to look at the review matrix application here. It says practice, but down further it says solutions. So all of these problems have been worked. You can check your work there. Same thing with real world applications. It's practice, and then there's solutions here. And then your assignment this week is going to be this quiz here. Let's start with the real world applications. Now we're going to work these using the matrices. So first problem I'm going to look at is the one involving Raphael. Let me see if I can download that. Change the way I'm doing this. I don't know why I got that like that. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting that and go to another screen here. Now, can you see the Raphael problem here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one we're going to work. Now, in this case, Raphael is an exchange student from Brazil and makes phone calls within Canada to the United States to Brazil. And they put all his information in a chart here. So when he talks within Canada, he talked for 90 minutes in September, 120 minutes in the US, and 180 minutes in Brazil. And it cost him $252. And then October and November is repeated here. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our equation. So I'm going to switch over to my Ladybug screen. And can you see Ladybug?
It's dark.
It's dark.
Let me try a different one here then. What do you see now?
I see a ladybug.
Just a
That's all you
little.
see. Just the ladybug. Let's try it again. Okay. What about now?
Now it's working.
Yes.
So this is the way I'm going to set this up. I'm going to let X equal the time for Canada, Y the time for the US, and Z the time to Brazil. Actually, this is going to be the rate for each of those. So my first equation from the table becomes 90X plus 120Y plus 180Z equals 252 total minutes. Second equation is 70X, 100Y, 120Z, and that totals 184. Third equation is 50X, 110Y, 150Z, and that totals 206. Now remember, rows go across, columns go up and down. So in this case, I have 3 rows and 4 columns, one for X, Y, Z, and then the total. So I have a 3x4 matrix. Rows come first, then columns. Now, when I list them here, I only list the coefficients and the total. I separated the total with this line here, and that line is called an augment. And you can solve this using Gauss elimination or Gauss-Jordan elimination, but it's a lot of work. It's much easier with the matrix. Now, to do it with a matrix, I need to separate these and make 2 matrices out of them. The first one is just the coefficients, and it has 3 rows and 3 columns, so it's a 3x3. The second matrix is just the cost of it, or the total, and that's 3 rows and 1 column, so that's a 3x1. Now I can only do that if these inside numbers are identical. It's 3 here, 3 columns, has to match 3 rows here. And what I end up with is the outside numbers, 3 rows and 1 column. Okay? Now the way I'm going to solve this is by following this procedure here. I'm going to turn on and clear my calculator. And I'm not going to press that button on the back. I'm going to go second plus 7, 1, and 2. Now to do this, I need to get into my matrix menu. Now, they call this matrix for dummies, but it's really simple, and I like it because it's easy to teach. So to get there, I'm going to press alpha, the green button, window, and then zoom, and gets me to my matrices. I remember my first matrix was a 3x3. That's this one. So I'm going to select the 3x3. I'm going to go over to 3. We've done this before, but looks a little different this time. I have my 3x3. Step number 4, I'm going to enter the data. So my data is going to be 90, 120, 180, 70, 100, 120, 50, 110, and 150. And when I get that, I'm going to double check my numbers: 90, 120, 180, 70, 100, 120, 50, 110, and 150. Now my next step is the space outside the matrix, then enter the inverse key. That's x to the -1. So I space outside, then I go to this button here, one that says x inverse, x to the -1, and I put that in. Now that takes care of my first matrix, but I still have a second matrix here, this 3x1 here. So I go back to alpha, window, zoom, and I'm going to put in the 3x1, and then enter the data. Well, the data is 252, 184, and 206. Press the enter key, and those are my answers. What I see is that it's 40 cents to call to Canada, 60 cents to call to the United States, and 80 cents to call to Brazil. I have to write my answer out, but before I do that, I'm going to check it. So I go back to my equations, and wherever there's an x, I'm going to replace it with 0.4, y with 0.6, and z with 0.8, and see if I get the correct total. I only check one of the problems here, one of the equations. You'll need to check all three, but it checked that one. So I write my solution as the triple pair, the order triple, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.8. Then I'm done. Now that's not bad. But let me show you another way of doing this, which I like even better. So I am going to stop presenting that. And present this. Oral applications. So now I'm looking at this. I'm going to go back and pick up a calculator that's in the Amnesty program. At the very bottom, you see this matrix calculator that opens in a new window. I click on that, and I get this window here. So now for that same problem, I plug in the numbers there, and x is 90, 120, 180. My total is 252. For the second equation, 70, 100, 120. My total there is 184. For the third equation, I have 50, 110, 150, and my total is 206. Double check your numbers: 90, 120, 180, 252, 70, 100, 120, 184, 50, 110, 150, 206, and then solve it. Now we're talking about rates here, so this is money. So we don't need all these nines here. You're going to have to round up to 2 decimal places. So this becomes 40 cents, 0.4. This becomes 60 cents, 0.6. This becomes 80 cents, 0.8. Then you're done. It's kind of nice, I think. Any questions over that?
No.
No, sir.
Let's look at one more then. So I'm going to go back into those practice problems. It's in week 8, by the way. And let's look at example 4. So let me switch back over to that. I'll stop presenting this. And we're going to look at example 4 with Tracy, Danielle, and Sherry. Okay, and this is what they paid for potato chips, pop. Used to call it pop in Iowa. Chocolate bars, and how much it costs. So let me switch over. To Ladybug again. So I'm going to let X equal the number of bags of potato chips, Y is the liters of pop, and Z is the number of chocolate bars. So based on the table, this is my first equation, 4X plus 4Y plus 6Z equals 21. 3X plus 2Y plus 10Z is 20.88. And the third equation is 2X plus 3Y plus 4Z is 1317. Now I'm going to solve that using this online calculator. I'll start presenting that. Go to my equation solver. And my numbers are 4, 4, 6, and 21. And 3, 2, 10, and 20.88. 2, 3, 4, and 13.17. Double check your numbers. 4, 4, 6, 21. 3, 2, 10, 20.88. 2, 3, 4, and 13.17. Now we solve that, and we see that a bag of potato chips is $1.98. A liter of pop is $1.47, and a chocolate bar is $1.20. Then we're done. Now that's all you're going to do this week. And just remember, in week 8, you've got this 3-variable chord quiz here. I don't know how many problems are in that. I think it's 6, I believe, not a lot. And that's going to be due on Thursday. Now, I did it on Thursday because some people need to do the amnesty problem. They have to finish that by tomorrow night. I didn't want to put too much work on that group. Any questions so far?
No.
No, sir.
Yeah. Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
So you should only take the test if you failed?
You mean the amnesty quiz?
Yes.
The idea behind the amnesty quiz was a lot of students got I's, incompletes. And if you're a UIL student, then you can't participate with an I. So Ms. Davis, the state gave us an extension. They asked for an extra week to fix that. So we have to the end of this week to get those grades up to passing. Now, what Ms. Davis said was that if you fail the progress report or second progress report, or you get an incomplete on it, and you take this amnesty quiz and pass it, we will go back and replace your failing grades and any grades you miss with that amnesty quiz grade. That should pull you up to passing. If you pass the amnesty quiz, you pass for the progress report. Now, we talked about this in one of our meetings the other day. If you passed and you make at least an 85 on the amnesty quiz, I will include it in the grade book. If you don't, I'll get excuses from you so it won't hurt you any.
All right, thank you.
You got it? Now, the thing about the amnesty quiz is you have to finish this by tomorrow night. Now, there are 30 problems in there. You can work it with the TI-84 calculator, or you can use this online calculator I just showed you. And there's a link to the online calculator in the amnesty quiz. Okay, anyone else have any questions?
I do have a question.
Yes. Sir.
So if you decide to put these numbers inside of the matrices when you use the calculator, will you still get the same numbers?
Yes, why don't we do that? A good question, Sydney. An inquisitive student is hard to find. Second plus 712. Okay. I'm going to switch back so you can see my calculator and my notes too, okay? So I'm going back to Ladybug. So these are my systems of equations. So I'm going to set up my 3x3 matrix, alpha, window, zoom. I need a 3x3. Well, that's not a 3x3. Second window, zoom. Did I put in a 4 by something? 4x2? That looks better. It doesn't look better either. Let's just clear this off and start over. Second window, zoom. 3x3. That looks better. So I put in a 4, a 4, a 6. Then a 3, a 2, a 10, a 2, a 3, and a 4. Check your numbers: 4, 4, 6, 3, 2, 10, 2, 3, 4. Space outside, do the inverse. And now I need a 3x1 matrix. So alpha, window, zoom, 3x1. Put your numbers in: 21, 20.88, 13.17. Double check your numbers. Press the enter key. And we got the same thing: $1.98, $1.47, $1.20. So either way will give you the same answer. If you don't have a calculator, you might want to use the online calculator. This one's, the online's a little faster, but this is not bad either. Did that answer your questions, Whitney?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now I want to call your attention back to something else. Now, for these two assignments here where it says practice, the solutions are right underneath here where it says solutions. So when you do these problems, you can check your answers right in here. Once you've worked a few of the problems, then take the quiz down here. Now, there are only 6 problems on the quiz, so each problem's worth about 16 points, so be careful with that. You can take it twice if you need to, but if you don't do well the first time, before you take it the second time, go back and see where you made your mistakes and what you didn't understand. Okay. Any other questions? Well, that's all I've got for today, guys. Oh my, were you ever able to get into that quiz you were working on? Miss Wynn,
Yes, sir.
did you get the quiz to work for you?
Yes, sir.
You did? What was wrong?
Hmm?
Did you figure out what was going on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you got to share with us? No, I guess. Well, mine, another student complained because part of the problem wasn't showing up in the quiz. And I looked at it and I could see all of it, so I don't really know what was going on there. But, apparently, Maya found a way to correct it. Okay, guys, if you don't have any other questions, we're through for the day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, John.
Actually, have you put in new homework grades for last week yet?
No, I haven't put any grades into eSchool.
Ah, okay.
They told us to focus on this amnesty thing because so many students needed it. But I'll try to get those.
Okay, because like I have a 77 in your class, and I'm kind of worried.
Well, do you really have a 77?
Okay.
If I haven't transferred the work.
Sorry, that was the only question I had.
Oh, okay, well, let me transfer it over and we'll look at it. Now, I should have said this while we had everyone here. The 9 weeks ends next week, so let's talk about grades on, say, Tuesday or so of next week.
Okay.
Then if I need to make some adjustments, I'll do it then.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
Okay,
Bye.
goodbye.